Bird vocalization. Bird vocalization includes both bird calls and bird songs. In non-technical use, bird songs are the bird sounds that are melodious to the human ear. In ornithology and birding, relatively long and elaborate songs are distinguished by function from relatively briefer and simple calls. Most birds draw on a variety of sounds to convey to potential mates, rivals, and predators all the important things they have to say. Mainly used to impress and attract a mate or declare territorial boundaries, bird songs are often loud and repetitive, and so they tend to be noticed more than other bird sounds. Most of the time, we hear only males singing because they typically take the lead in defending territories and attracting mates. Though, in some areas, especially in the tropics, some species sing duets involving both the male and female. Experiments with recorded songs have shown that birds sing to attract mates. House wren songs broadcast near nest boxes will attract female house wrens. For example, female birds may also judge the quality of a male's song when selecting a mate. Some studies have shown that males with extra food on their territories are the most persistent singers, and in some species, the most persistent singers attract females the soonest. Playback experiments have also shown that songs are important in defending a territory. For example, male house wrens respond aggressively to the recording of another male's songs, sometimes even attacking the loudspeaker. In other tests, researchers temporarily removed male birds from their territories, but played songs through speakers on some of the territories. Neighboring males were less likely to invade territories from which songs were broadcast, showing that the song means keep out to other birds. In addition to singing, birds uses a variety of sounds to communicate. Calls are used for interacting with family members, alerting one another to the presence of predators, keeping in touch while flying, or sharing information about food. Birds use contact calls to keep in touch as they fly, feed, or go about their day. Contact notes are often short and high-pitched. Mates can match each other's calls, helping them to identify their partners, even at a distance or in a large flock. Many birds use contact calls to keep in touch while migrating, and birds that migrate at night may also use nocturnal flight calls. Some very experienced birders can tell which species are flying overhead by listening to these sounds. Researchers at the Cornell Lab of Ornithology are using these sounds to study birds at night, monitoring the numbers and kinds of birds that pass overhead during migration. Aside from migration, contact calls, many birds also utter alarm calls in response to a nearby predator. Jays, domestic chickens, and many other birds even use different calls for warning about ground and aerial predators. For example, Florida scrub jays use a thin, high-pitched call when warning of a hawk or falcon, prompting nearby jays to dive for cover. They use a lower-pitched, scolding sound when warning of a snake, cat, or other terrestrial predator. By using alarm calls, the birds let the predators know that it has been sighted. Having lost the advantage of surprise, the predator may decide to give up the attack. Alarm calls also warn other birds that the predator is there. This may help because birds will often mob predators that are near their nest or young. When birds of many species join in, they have a better chance of chasing the predator away. Some birds also use calls to announce that they have found food. In Nebraska, cliff swallows forage for aerial insects in groups of 2 to more than 1,000 birds. When birds find food in bad weather, they use a squeak call that attracts other swallows. Keeping track of a moving swarm of insects may be difficult for a single swallow. Attracting other swallows may improve its chances of continuing to find food. Remarkably, each bird is an expert sound mixer. It can also produce the whole chorus on its own. The sound produced by one individual will sound as complex as that produced by 9. Bird vocalization, therefore, is a deep and complex subject as well as a glorious uplifting one. There is much that scientists still do not understand about it, yet the unraveling of its mystery is definitely enjoyable.